Hey Cobra Kai fans, welcome to the breakdown. Hope you're doing great. And the hype is so real for this trailer because, oh my god, you need to check out the reaction if you haven't. But if you have, of course I said I'll meet you at the breakdown, and here we are. So we're gonna go straight into the video. So the video starts with seeing Johnny sitting on the beach, you know, thinking about what happened to Miguel and what he was doing with Cobra Kai. And he says that the truth is he failed Miguel and he learns from that. And this is what he says to Miguel in literally the first episode. The proof that it is the first episode is that these screenshots on Entertainment Weekly, if you weren't aware, if you put your cursor on the actual image when you full screen it, it even tells you the episode number. So if that's right, this is the first episode, meaning we'll see Johnny say this in episode 1 to Miguel, saying to Johnny at the school that he got soft and that they had to pay the price for Miguel. We see Tori training on the bag, and we see Hawk here, who he looks to be beating up someone very viciously, which is the same shot in the teaser, and look at his hands, very bloody. We then see that scene in season 2 where Kreese takes the dojo, and then we see Carmen looking at Miguel. Daniel says that the whole reason these kids got into trouble was because of us, which is true. The next shot is Johnny in prison, and we know we've seen this before in the teaser, so it's probably the fight that he got into. Now, this seems to be Robby getting arrested and what seems to be Daniel LaRusso as well. I mean, look at the body language, the hand gesture, and that definitely is Daniel LaRusso, and that is his watch. So that confirms that Daniel is there. And I assume this is when Robby is on the run, and this confirms it because on IMDb, the cop played by Scott Hunter has been listed for episode 2. So episode 2 is where Robby basically gets arrested and caught. So he must have been on the run. As we saw him at the end of season 2, he left the scene when he injured Miguel. After that, we see this shot of Sam, which appears to be the school doing security checks, probably after the school fight, because it was a very big situation. In the next shot, we see Tori counting money and looks concerned. This could be that she's in her own apartment or home, but this links to the theory that I made when learning more about this new character called Rodney, and he said that his character interacts with Tori, and watch the video because it will make sense. It was an interview with Grayson Berry. In the next shot, we see Chris, Nate and Dimitri get approached by Hawk and Mitch, and Chris looks pretty confident when he looks at Mitch, and so do the other guys. And this is episode 3 because Nate has been credited for the 3rd episode in season 3, and that's the first credit and the first time we're probably going to see them. And Dimitri looks at Hawk and Hawk looks back at Dimitri, and you can definitely tell that things are not good between them, and it really wasn't at the end of the season. In the next shot, we see Daniel, and he approaches Johnny and says that the only way they can end all of this is if they work together. And Johnny turns around and looks like he will work with Daniel. And this is definitely that scene that we saw in the teaser.
What did you think would happen?
And we see Miguel wake up, and we knew he wasn't gonna die because Miguel never dies. In the next shot, Daniel literally enters the Cobra Kai dojo and reads "Fear does not exist in this dojo," which is what he heard Kreese tell his students in Karate Kid 1 in the original Cobra Kai dojo, which is really interesting. We see Daniel in front of an old Cobra Kai banner, and then we see Kreese.
Kreese seems quite smug here, so I'm curious why. But on the left, you can see the daggers and weapons on the wall, and it's almost like Kreese knows something.
Kreese says that there is no good or bad, just weak and strong, and unveils a cobra snake to his students, which is a very intimidating factor and is very interesting because we never saw Kreese have a cobra snake in his dojo previously. Now, a long-awaited theory was if Kylo was going to return for season 3, and yes, he does. He looks straight at Hawk, and Hawk makes him look scared, and he loses his smirk straight away. And I'm curious who this student to Kyla's left is, if she's a new character that's gonna have a lot of screen time, or it's just a new love interest for Kyla, because they are stood very close together.
And this takes place in episode 6, so we don't see Kyla till the mid-season.
The most awesome moment possibly in the trailer is seen now, where Daniel and Johnny are together and seem to be in a mechanic shop, and we see 3 guys, one with a chain, looking to fight them, and this is definitely going to be an awesome fight. We see Johnny is looking ready to strike first, and we see a kick by Daniel, and we see Johnny sweep the leg as Daniel goes for the face. The team up is supposed to be in episode 2, as Derek Russo, who plays this character Bo, is credited for episode 2, in which Daniel and Johnny team up. So this is very early into season 3. I'm still curious why they're there. This definitely looks like Hawk is the leader of the Cobra Kai students, and he is the #1 student under Kreese, and these guys definitely look like they obey Hawk. We see a really interesting shot where Sam says, I thought we were supposed to be the good guys, and we see Dimitri being quite aggressive with Hawk, and he takes out Hawk completely, which is unlike Dimitri, as we've seen him get roughed up a lot in season 1 and 2 and picked on a lot, and he looks very intimidating. And that's a reference to the Karate Kid 1 when Bobby literally takes out Daniel LaRusso. We see this shot of Robby in the juvenile detention center as he's wearing the same uniform as this character, who's named to be Sean, and this is supposed to be in episode 3 as Sean is listed there, spin-off that they're doing. But Robby is seen here being beaten up by a bunch of these juveniles, and he is left injured, and this is going to be really harsh for Robby at the start. The next shot, we see Samantha in what seems to be a club that looked very familiar from this scene, so that confirms that this is the club that Tori brought up when she was speaking to Miguel, and Sam is probably fighting her or is sort of jumped by a few of her friends or even Tori. And listen to what Tori says here in season 2, episode 5.
Yeah, we can go somewhere like that. My girlfriend bartends at this place over in Cahuenga.
Daniel teaches Sam that she can't run away from her problems, so he embraces the training with Sam and teaches her how to use one of these sticks, and really gets Sam happy once again. In comparison to this shot, Sam looks very miserable and does not look like she wants to be there. And that's probably when Daniel resumes her training as they did before. And this episode is supposed to be episode 7, so this is quite deep into the season. Then we see Miguel in the hospital, waking up all good, and Johnny shouts, "Quiet!" And it's classic because he's shouting quiet to him in the hospital because Miguel's basically making excuses about his injury because he's worried that he can't do this or that, and Johnny basically tells him to suck it up and get rid of that negativity because you aren't going to do anything with that attitude. Johnny really does look out because he said that to Miguel that those words are just meaningless. And then we see this scene with Amanda, which is still blowing my mind. She approaches Kreese on her own. Kreese looks really comfortable here. He's been in the sauna. Amanda slaps him, but I'm curious why. And it says forget old acquaintances. So it's almost like it's referencing something about Amanda and Kreese that we don't know about. And I feel that they could have known each other from the past. What if Amanda is somehow related to Kreese and Daniel didn't know this? This could be a very big twist. Or she simply stands up to Kreese for what he's done. But it really depends, but I'm still curious why Amanda just goes there and slaps him. Maybe she takes things into her own hand whilst Daniel and Johnny are unavailable. So it's a badass moment. We see Johnny re-enter Cobra Kai, and you can see the fear does not exist in this dojo sticker that Kreese put up in the new Cobra Kai. And you can also see his new cage for the snake. And this clip is pretty much the same moment because Johnny kicks something here. If it's a person or a door, I'm curious. The next shot, we see Sam and Tori looking at each other, and it looks like Tori came unannounced. It does spook the hell out of Sam. So to me, it might be a moment where Sam is literally fearing for her life because Tori has caused her a lot of trauma after their fight at the school. And maybe Tori is up to something. As we know, she is very mysterious, but she does not look normal here. I mean, that is a very smug and psychotic look. We see Robby back at the prison, and he looks like he's having fun, trying to get other inmates in trouble. Robby looks like he's enjoyed his fight with this juvenile, and this is probably the Sean character that's brand new that we saw beat him up a few moments ago. Robby has definitely got roughed up. This sequence here with Miguel seems to be a dream of Miguel returning to the All Valley tournament and that he's competing once again. But he's wearing a Cobra Kai gi, which definitely indicates that he is dreaming for his return, because we know that he wouldn't go back to Cobra Kai now as he's so loyal to Johnny, and he looks at his feet because he wants to be back doing what he does best. We see Robby once again in the juvenile detention center, but he looks to have a visitor but they could have easily cut this to make it look like that Kreese is waiting for Robby. And this scene here is where Kreese could have actually seen Robby. Although I still stick to my theory that his mother is looking at him, because we have no clue on how his mother is going to take this situation with Robby, and possible that Kreese might be there too. Daniel in Okinawa, and it confirms that he was actually looking at a photo of him and Miyagi, hence why he looked quite sad. And the awesome thing is Kimiko is officially back in Cobra Kai, and it's been such a long wait to see her, and Tamlin Tomita had to keep this quiet for so long, and she was approached back in 2019 about her role in season 3. I will definitely talk about this in another video. Now, her and Daniel are seen at this bar in Okinawa, which I assume is her own because it seems very private. And Kimiko is seen without any sort of ring because there's rumors saying that she would be with Chosen, but there's no indication of that whatsoever. But I assume that they befriended each other after Karate Kid 2. And you can see Daniel looks over and he sees Chosen. Yes, Chosen is officially back. And Daniel says that Mr. Miyagi taught him everything he knew. So Chosen says, let's put this to the test and have a fight. And this links to that scene that we saw in the teaser where Daniel said that Mr. Miyagi would never hide anything from me, in which Chosen says,
are you sure about that?
We see the official season 3 title come up, and then we see something interesting about the release date. It says New Year, and we see Miguel parting with Johnny at a concert, which is an awesome moment. You can see Miguel's in the wheelchair. And much lower down. And then we see Johnny here wearing a white blazer and what appears to be a very Christmassy environment, which could be either a reunion at the Encino Oaks Hill Club or Country Club that we saw in the Karate Kid 1 where Johnny and Ali dance together. Maybe he sees Ali here, or it's a wedding he's been invited to through Ali. If this is right, this will be at the Encino Oaks Country Club and Johnny will be there for a wedding he was invited to, and this will take place in episode 3. So this is probably how he gets Ali, because she will be around there
to get help for Miguel.
Then we see the trailer finish saying coming January. What's interesting is it doesn't say January, and not even long ago people were seeing that on Netflix it said Cobra Kai was coming on January 1st, and in the trailer we saw it said coming January. So what if they are announcing more news about the date moving to the 1st? Maybe this is what John Hurwitz was referring to. It's not just a few days of greatness for Cobra Kai fans, it's a week. So maybe this is the last bit of news we're going to get this week about Cobra Kai. The week's not over and there will be more news on season 3, and John Hurwitz confirmed this. So oh my god guys, stay tuned. I will definitely update you on more news, and thank you for tuning in to this breakdown. I really hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. I will be following up on a lot of other videos, such as more about Kimiko and more about Kyla and whatnot, so stay tuned for those. And I will be dropping a timeline video soon about season 3 on whereabouts. So thanks for watching guys, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.